Hey guys, Sam here from WebContempo, and today we're going to be talking about comments on your WordPress site. If you've ran a WordPress site before, you probably know about comments. They're really useful to have if you have a blog and you want to get people interacting and saying useful stuff and adding to your content. That's great, but a lot of the times you maybe have like a small business site where you don't even have a blog, but yet you're still getting comments. And these are typically spam comments for stuff like Gucci bags or Michael Kors stuff, or they could be like just totally foreign language or just a mix of random characters, whatever. Links to various sites, just whatever kind of spam you can imagine, you see those kind of things in comments. The way that basically happens is people write scripts or bots, you could say, that will search the internet and find WordPress sites that they can comment on. So once your site gets onto one of these lists, it's going to just end up getting spammed relentlessly because people keep getting these lists and running them through their bots and spamming sites and so forth, and that's just kind of the way it works. It's a vicious cycle. So if you don't have your site set up to prevent comments spam, then you're probably just going to keep getting flooded with them, and nobody wants to sit there for hours every day just removing comments, spam comments from their site manually, because it can be a real pain. And we've had sites where they didn't pay attention to comment spam, and they ended up with thousands of spam comments on their site, pending moderation. So not that that's a huge deal or anything, but it's a minor inconvenience, and it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. So the first thing you need to know about comments is there's some settings here under settings and discussion. And this is where you control quite a few settings regarding the comments on your site. So you got your default article settings. Attempt to notify any blogs linked to from the article. This does not affect comments. This actually will ping other blogs that if you link to them, and it doesn't really do much besides that. Most people don't recognize those anyway, so it's fine to leave that checked, because sometimes people might find it useful, like, hey, this guy just linked to me, that's great, but other times people just have these set to ignore, or whatever. Allow link notifications from other blogs, pings and trackbacks on new articles. Kind of same thing when another site links to you. It's like the reverse. And there's ways of spamming this, so you probably do not want this issue here. So we just actually unclick this. You don't really need that. Allow people to post comments on new articles. These settings may be overridden for individual articles, by the way. So this is if you want people to be able to post at all. So let's say you got a small business site, you don't even have a blog. You probably want to turn this off. Now, I have had sites in the past where, even though we've had this turned off, there's somehow still comments getting through. So, I don't know if that's still the case. I haven't had that issue in a while, but it's definitely something that has happened in the past before. So just know that this is not going to be the silver bullet to stopping comment spam. But if you don't want any comments on your site, that's probably a good thing to have. Let's see, other comment settings. Comment author must fill out name and email. Obviously, you want that. Users must be registered and logged in to comment. Now, this one, if you don't have registration for users on your site, you probably don't want this if you're trying to encourage, real people to comment, because they're just not going to be able to do it. Automatically close comments on articles over 14 days, or you can set the number of days. Again, this one I probably would never really want to use, because even on older articles, I don't think it really hurts to be getting comments on them, unless if the only reason why people are commenting are just to try to get a link or whatever on your article. So, but even in that case, you can block the spam and filter out the comments you don't want on there. So generally speaking, I would never use this one, but you could if you're having a lot of problems with it. Enable threaded nested comments. That's not really relevant to what we're talking about, but that's just if you want nested comments. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of a personal preference kind of deal. Break comments into pages with however many comments per page, and then you can paginate them. It doesn't really matter. That's another just random preference. Email me whenever anyone posts a comment. Now, this one you probably want once you have your spam situation under control. Now, if you've had a problem with comment spam in the past, you'll probably notice that it's super annoying to get emails every single time a spam comment gets posted. So that's totally understandable. But once you have your spam under control, then it's a little bit easier to deal with it. So, and it's actually helpful because a lot of times when you get real comments, you actually want to go back in and interact with the person who commented, reply back to them, thank them for commenting, whatever. So this is actually pretty useful to have once you get your spam under control. Email me whenever a comment is held for moderation, basically the same thing. Before a comment appears, a comment must be manually approved. This is good, but it's not great if they are like a frequent commenter who has already been approved for a previous comment. So what we have here is comment author must have a previously approved comment. This is the one we usually check because once somebody's usually been approved for one comment, it's probably fine if they want to continue commenting. And you don't really need them to keep going into the queue every single time. That's kind of a personal preference, but it really doesn't hurt. There's some additional stuff here. Comment moderation. Hold a comment in the queue if it contains 2 or more links, or however many you want to specify here. If they have more than 2 links in there, you probably do want to moderate it. So that one, it's probably fine just leaving it on 2. We pretty much never change that one. Here you can put some flag words. That's always a good one to do, but it's probably not going to help you that much with comment spam because there's so many different kind of flag words and different ways of getting spammed that you can put stuff in here for days, but it's not really going to ultimately solve your problem. So if you want to use it, you can. We typically don't use this. Comment blacklist, kind of same thing. So you can definitely use this one, but and I would imagine you could probably Google for lists of crap you can put in here so you don't have to manually figure out the words yourself. But generally speaking, it's not going to really help you so much. And then here's just a bunch of avatar stuff. Doesn't really matter. So that's pretty much what we got here. So optimal setting for comments. These don't really matter. Allow people to post comments on new articles. We do want that checked. Attempt to notify. That one's up to you. That one's up to you. Comment author must fill out name and email. We definitely want that. Don't want this. And the rest of this is kind of subjective. And then email me whenever anyone posts a comment or whenever a comment is held for moderation. I think these are both useful. I would recommend keeping them. And then before comment appears, this is an important one. Comment author must have a previously approved comment. I think this is a way better option than this. So that's pretty much it on that. Now, just having your comment set up like this is not going to prevent comment spam. You're still going to get it. So you need to take an additional step. What I like to do is use a free plugin, which I've used on a ton of different sites, and I believe it's called like Spam Shield or something. I just go to the plugins, add new, and then search for spam comments. You can see I've done that in the past. And then here we got WP Spam Shield. That's the name of it. I always forget the name of it, but it's a pretty easy name. So we'll go ahead and install this. The cool thing about this is it works in one click. So you don't even really have to do anything. So install, activate, bam. That's going to pretty much stop almost all your spam right there. I don't know exactly how this even works, but however it works, it's pretty much amazing because it almost every case I've ever used it, it's worked really well for stopping spam comments. I can see it's lagging a little bit, but I've got another site here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now they do have settings, but you actually don't need to do anything further than that, and that's going to stop probably at least 90% of all your comments, man, maybe more like 99%. We rarely get spam comments when we have this activated. Now there's some additional features you can use with this, which are, kind of the similar stuff to what was on the comments page. You got the blacklist, log the comments, block comment logging mode. None of these really need whitelist. Again, probably not going to ever need that. Disable trackbacks and pingbacks. If you're getting a lot of trackbacks or pingbacks, you can do that. Otherwise, we usually just leave those. And then there's also some additional options for your Contact Form 7 and your Gravity Form, which are two of the biggest form plugins there are out there. So these can be useful. I typically do not use these with the forms because you can just use like reCAPTCHA integration, or sometimes with Gravity Forms, just the honeypot that works in the background is really good. So I don't like to have this thing mess with the forms at all. I just handle that in a separate basis because form spam is actually different than comment spam. Even though they're similar, it's kind of a different animal. So we can address that differently. So basically, there is some options here. If you want to mess around with it, you can see it gets really into detail on the comment form settings, but nothing that's really that important to worry about. So pretty much you just set this and forget it, and that's going to cut out a ton of your comment spam. Now you can see on the site here, I've already got it set up on. This is my site, and you can see I actually get at one point, I used to blog on this site a lot about, like, believe it or not, like 7 or 8 years ago, and got a pretty decent amount of comments. And as a result, I have some posts that were getting spammed pretty heavily. So we've installed the spam shield on this site, and you can see it's blocked 3,036 spams since I installed it, and that's 13 spams a day. So, you gotta love that for not really having to do anything at all. Pretty much solved my spam problem. Now only comments I get on here are real comments, and it just makes everything way easier to not have to worry about that, not be getting those emails with spam, because those can really add up, especially if you manage a lot of sites. So definitely something I highly recommend if you're getting spammed a lot is checking out WP Spam Shield, and then just double check on discussion and make sure you got your comment settings optimized. And that's basically it. That's going to put you a huge step ahead. Outside of removing your comment forms completely, there's not too much more you can do that's going to give you a much better result than this. So anyway, check it out, and hopefully that works for you. And make sure you stay tuned because we're going to have all kinds more tutorials. We're going to be talking about all different types of WordPress plugins, and I've got some really cool before and afters coming up to show you. So hit that subscribe button and keep coming back for more. Thanks.